All right, so here's the setup for 43. We have a increase of 5% due to inflation, and then we have a discount of 10%. And then I'm left wondering, is there a way I can write the final price as a function of the original price? You guys see that? So I get to pick some variable names here. What do you want to call the original price? P, because you're boring.
It says it in the question.
Oh, or because it says it in the problem. Okay, so P is going to be my original price. What are you going to call the final price? F? Because you're boring?
No, because F is final price.
Yeah, okay. So,
You do like half subscript B.
oh good. I better include that P, right? Because I'm trying to write the final price as a function of the original. So, maybe I'll write it as F of P. Right? It should be a function, right? It needs to depend on the original. Okay, so, how do I do down by 5%? Up, sorry. How do I do up by 5%?
Figure out what 5% is.
Okay, so this guy here, I'm thinking of that as the function multiplied by 1.05. You guys all with that? What's a 10% discount as a function? Multiply by 0.9. Okay, so over here I have an original price, yeah?
Why do you do 0.9?
Because it's 1 plus the 5% on top of the 100% that you already have. You're increasing it by 5%.
I would.
So back to this, why did I do the 1.05?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me write that over here maybe. So if I want to start with P, right, this should be my 5% up. That's the first thing that happens in my function, right? So one way to go 5% up is to do P, right, where you start it, plus,
P times
0.0.
yeah, 0.5% of P, right? So 0.05 P. And then you can factor a P out of this thing and combine like terms. So that here, I could really think about this 5% up. That's really the multiply by 1.05 function that's going on there. You guys see that? That's my first
It's the
step.
100% plus the
Times
5%.
Yeah, it's the 100% that I started with plus the 5% that it went up. Now what's my next step?
That's the times by 0.9.
Yeah, on this one I need to go down by 10%, right? So I take the 100% I was at before and subtract 10%. That'll get me to the idea of multiplying by 0.9 here. That's going to get me to f of p, yeah? This whole thing, beginning to end, that's your new price f. Okay, see that? Okay, so how do I actually write a formula for that? What are the two steps? Yeah, I want a formula for f of p. So what do you start with?
B.
Okay, you start with a p, right? And then what's the first thing you do to it?
Times
Multiply by
1.05.
1.05. Okay, so I get 1.05p, right? That's one of these intermediate guys, right? This dude here,
Yeah.
that thing there are the same. Then what's the second thing you do to this dude?
Times by 0.9.
You take this whole thing, right? And now you need to multiply by 0.9. Cool? But these are really just numbers that I'm multiplying, yeah? Multiplication doesn't give a crap about the order, right? So what can I do and how can I simplify f of p?
Multiply that. Can you times 0.9 by 0.105?
Yeah, let's multiply 0.9 by 1.05, and what do we get? 0.945
Yeah.
p. Cool?
That's it.
Yeah, so that's my answer here. what does that mean the overall discount was? Right, so we went 5% up and then 10% down, but what does that amount to?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we got 5.5% discount. You guys see that?
Yeah.
You see why it's not 5%? Yeah. Because you discounted 10% from a 5% increase, which means the discount was a little deeper than 5%. What if that? You guys see that? So be a little careful with these. People oftentimes get screwed up with this. In fact, you can watch news anchors do it fairly often. The guys who won't get screwed up with it are usually the guys who are talking money. But the people who aren't talking money will often do 5% up, 5% down, zeros out, right? No. Cool. So, a little careful. Other questions on this thing?